Welcome to Legends Reimagined. Today we delve into the gripping and macabre tale of the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A story that asks, what happens when the line between good and evil isn't just blurred, it's obliterated? Imagine a world where your darkest impulses roam free, unchecked. This is the chilling reality of Dr. Jekyll, whose ambition to conquer human duality unleashed something far more terrifying. Let's unravel this twisted tale. It all begins with a peculiar incident on the fog-drenched streets of London. A young girl is trampled by a man described as hideous and sinister. The man, Mr. Edward Hyde, shows no remorse but offers a check signed by the highly respected Dr. Henry Jekyll to settle the matter. This connection between Jekyll and Hyde stirs suspicion among Jekyll's close friends, including his lawyer, Mr. Utterson, who begins to investigate. Dr. Jekyll, a celebrated scientist and philanthropist, seems to embody virtue and self-restraint. But Utterson notices something peculiar: Jekyll's sudden withdrawal from society and his troubling insistence that Hyde be left alone, no matter how vile his behavior. What could possibly bind a man like Jekyll to someone as depraved as Hyde? The truth lies in Jekyll's ambitious experiment. Driven by a desire to separate the good and evil within himself, he creates a serum that transforms him into Edward Hyde, a physical manifestation of his darkest desires. At first, Jekyll revels in the freedom Hyde provides, committing acts of cruelty and debauchery with no consequence. But what begins as a controlled experiment soon spirals into chaos. The turning point comes when Hyde's violence escalates. His once petty misdeeds give way to unspeakable atrocities, culminating in the brutal murder of Sir Danvers Carew, a respected public figure. Hyde bludgeons him to death with a walking stick in a frenzy of rage, a crime that shocks all of London. With the net closing in on Hyde, Jekyll swears to abandon the experiment. He locks away the serum, vowing to bury Hyde forever. For a time, it seems Jekyll has succeeded. He re-emerges into society, hosting friends and resuming his charitable work, but the balance within him has shifted irrevocably. Hyde, no longer dependent on the serum, begins to surface on his own. One moment, Jekyll is himself, the next he's Hyde, his monstrous alter ego clawing its way to dominance. The Doctor is horrified to discover that his dual nature has become a battle for control, one he is losing. Then comes the final descent. Hyde, now fully dominant, begins to panic as the authorities close in on him for Carew's murder. But there's no escape for Hyde, for he and Jekyll are one and the same. The realization that his life is doomed drives Hyde to take the ultimate step. When Utterson and the servants finally break into Jekyll's lab, they find a chilling scene. Hyde lies dead, an empty vial of poison in his hand. But where is Dr. Jekyll? Utterson discovers a letter, a confession that reveals the horrifying truth. Jekyll's experiment was not a triumph over human duality, but a surrender to it. By creating Hyde, Jekyll thought he could separate his darker impulses, but instead he gave them power. Hyde was not a separate entity, he was the purest expression of Jekyll's own evil. In the end, Dr. Jekyll could not escape the monster he had unleashed because that monster was himself. The tragic irony of his story is clear. Jekyll's quest to conquer human nature only proved how inseparable our duality truly is. So, what can we learn from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Is it a cautionary tale about science overstepping its bounds, or is it a mirror reflecting our own hidden darkness? Perhaps it's both. Here on Legends Reimagined, we explore how such timeless tales resonate with us today. What would Jekyll and Hyde look like in the modern age? Would science still tempt us to unravel the mysteries of the human psyche? Stay tuned, subscribe, and join us next time as we bring another legendary story to life, with a twist